Hello, everybody. What's going down? My name is Sonja Marie here on this awesome Tuesday, February 20th, 2024. I wanted to take a moment to reintroduce myself to you, but before I do, thank you for all the wonderful people that have supported me in the last 8 to 9 years. I'm so grateful for you, and even those in between, you are appreciated. For those that are coming to my channel just by happenstance or spirit brought you here, thank you. If this information resonates with you, please like and consider subscribing and sharing this information with those that you know and love. If it lands in your heart, best believe it'll probably land in somebody's heart that's a lot like you. Please forgive me if I sound a little nasally as I reintroduce myself. I put on a YouTube not too long ago a declaration, so to speak. And even though there are some wonderful astrologers out there that have been around for forever, trust and believe, before the internet came about, on the internet, oftentimes we look to astrology and a lot of spiritual modalities as ways in which to pump us up, to make us look good, for entertainment purposes at the very least. Sonja Marie's mission in this astrological informational space is to basically share with you how to get better, how to be the best you that you can be. Yep, because astrology, in my opinion, shows us our personality. Sometimes our spirit, our soul, comes in with one mission, and our personality, be it too controlling or too loving or too many twos, have a way of blocking out the soul's mission. I'm here to share what that personality is all about in a plethora of ways. And hopefully you can see yourself in what it is that I explained. Astrology, Western astrology, and the way that I use it, is a tell-all. We want to see all of us so we can get to God, so we can get to the purest space in who we are, and we can live this mission that we signed on for when we slipped through our mother's wombs, you dig? So with that being said, please go to my website at wordlifeastrology.com, wordlifeastrology.com, and check out all the services that we offer up in order to help you get closer to you and thus get closer to spirit in that process. We offer up retreats and one-on-one readings, group readings, couple readings, 6-month devotionals in which I hang with you for 6 months and show you a little bit about what's going on in your life, and so much more. Again, visit my website and let me know what you think here in the comment section below, okay? Let's get to it. So let's start with Tuesday. One aspect that I want to highlight today is the moon in Cancer will sextile Uranus in Taurus. The moon in Cancer brings about some emotional information. The moon in Cancer allows us to go into the past, literally in our emotional past, and drudge up some things. Now, I want y'all to be very, very careful about this moon being in Cancer for Tuesday, as well as some part of Wednesday. And I know Monday is in the rear view mirror, but if you can recollect what happened on Monday and whatever emotional situations came about, let me see if it has anything to do with what I'm about to tell you. That moon in Cancer was squaring Chiron. Chiron, Chiron, I have fun spelling it every now and again, is nicknamed by astrologers the wounded healer. It has a way of bringing up some shadow sides wounds that we've been carrying since our teenage years. With the moon squaring Chiron these last couple of days, emotionally, we've been feeling like them old shadows are coming back. Like the things that we thought we healed through and we demolished and smashed and got, I would say mature because we've addressed it at some particular time. They like to come back. Now listen, pause real quick. I want y'all to know there's no destination to healing, okay? And I'm sure many of you already know this, but we will be healing ourselves, peeling ourselves back to the moment we take our last breath, y'all. Yes, we all want to be better than what we were yesterday, but at the same time, we still got a lot of work to do. I say all that to say is that when that moon in Cancer gets awoken by Chiron, we almost feel like we haven't walked the road. We almost feel like, God damn it, like who knocked me down? Who kicked me in my neck? Who made me smell the same feces, the same stench that I've been smelling all my life? Here's the thing about the stench. The stench is, first of all, you're used to it. So in my opinion, don't get thrown off by the shadow sides, the wounds that want to come up. Don't get too boggled down in your emotions, as that moon in Cancer wants to say, and drudge you back into the past. Remember you used to do this? Remember when this used to feel that way? Yes. Remember it for the sheer reason that you are not ever gonna go back there. Please and very please, I want to remind you of that in case 1 or 2 or 10 of you may be feeling that thing. It's not just you, boo-boo. These emotional situations are coming up so you can look at Chiron, so you can look at your wounds and say, okay, talk to me. What else you want me to know? Sit with your wounds. Cry, scream, yell, whatever you need to do to go through so you're not pulled in the past to make yourself a victim again. Also today, the moon sextiles Uranus. I think I said that already, but I want to make sure that I lay it down what that really means. The moon sextile in Uranus gives us an aha moment, so to speak. If we allow those emotions that we are plagued by Chiron or whatever other triggers and situations that come around us, right, and we become emotional for whatever reason, Uranus says use that emotion in the best way possible to shift. Use that emotion in the best way possible to locate an aha moment. If Chiron pulls you into that woe is me kind of feel, and you say to Chiron, well, what's the originator of this woe is me? And Chiron shows you, it's because you've been holding on. Chiron shows you, it's because you've been attracting the same types of dude that might look like your dad and how he used to look. And the fact that it's not favorable, but it makes you feel somewhat safe because you're comfortable with the dysfunction. Uranus says, sit in that. See that Chiron, see that dysfunction, and have that aha moment. Oh, that's why I did a thing. That's why that feels that way. That's why I'm never going to allow this to happen again, because life has shifted and I'm no longer in that space. You dig what I'm saying? The moon sextile in Uranus says find that aha moment, like a quick back door to say, ooh, I got it. Okay, pew, I'm gone. It's time to shift. It's time to wake up and be stronger and to do things in an innovative way in which I've never done before, to react in my emotions with some type of effectiveness as opposed to holding on, being a victim, staying in the past, being emotionally reactive to certain things that no longer grow corn, that no one is really looking at you for, that has outweighed its stay. Sometimes we come with excuses and reasons, and people look around and go, that was a reason from 1983, y'all. Like, you still holding on to that excuse, is the point. Uranus says, get the heck up out of here. See what you need to see, and pew, out the back door. On Wednesday, check it out. The moon goes into Leo around about mid-morning, early afternoon, right? And it will be opposition Pluto, because Pluto is in Aquarius. Balance out these emotional expectations with power. So it's almost like we got this emotional understanding the day before. Leo grabs a hold of it and says, okay, I got the courage now, because the moon in Leo deals with courage, deals with expectations. So be very careful of that, but also deals with the opportunity to say, you know what? I will to will thy will. I will to will thy will. That means I am ready and able to do what it is that Spirit tells me to do. And when the moon says that in a Leotine type of way, and it takes its cast across the way to Pluto, which is opposite, 180 degrees, it says, I'm standing in my conviction. Can you stand in your power, Pluto? Can you show us what we need to do to transform ourselves for humanity, in order to be fair, in order to be just, in order to come up with the proper plan, in order to will this will? I need the plan. I need the sheer shift of power, transformative power to bring me the plan to live out this will, is what the moon opposition Pluto says. Also, the moon will be opposition Venus and opposition Mars. Why? Because Venus and Mars are both in Aquarius as well. Desires and aggression lean to the thoughts, while emotions play with courage in dealing with the plan. Here's the deal. When that moon in Leo is opposition Venus, it's like that moon, that courage wants to pull out the desire of Aquarius energy, the desire to be fair, the desire to tap into humanitarianism, the desire to overthink a thing. When the moon is opposition Mars, the moon in Leo says, I have the emotional wherewithal, the courage, the understanding, the will to move in a way in which I can help the people, in which I can think, in which I can make up the plan, in which I can be non-confrontational about a thing and get things done. The beautiful thing about oppositions is that as long as you see where they both have their power, they can execute in a way in which they service one another. The moment you think that the will is stronger than the need to execute with a plan or the need to execute with passion of the people, then it's a little out of balance. The bottom line is find the balance between your individual will versus what you do and what you think for those outside of you. It's delicate, very much so. Thursday, the day starts off in a little irritable kind of space. Why? Because the sun is quincunxed in the moon. It's kind of weird. The sun is in Pisces, the moon is in Leo. They don't necessarily get along. Why? Because Pisces thinks that Leo energy is too big, gregarious, ornate. Leo energy thinks that Pisces energy is too meek, too shape-shifting, too allowing. So the bottom line is that those two energies between your ego, the sun, and the moon, the feelings, are a little irritated by one another. Do your best to understand that they both have a plan. Don't get irritated. The moon in its Leo information wants to push us through any sadness, where the sun wants to allow us to shine in the knowing that spirit is taking care of us. They both have a valid point. If you find yourself in the middle of that, trying to execute your decisions and move through your day with both of them, you may get a little bit thrown off. Use one for one thing, use another for another. I hope that makes sense. Also on Thursday, Venus is in conjunction with Mars. That's right, because Venus is in Aquarius and Mars is in Aquarius as well. Mind control and execution or nothing at all, especially if it's a fight. Let me break that down. Again, Aquarius energy does not like to fight. It's very non-confrontational. But the interesting relationship between Venus and Mars is Venus gives Mars the instruction. So Venus says, this is what I desire. This is what I'm passionate for. And Mars says, okay, honey, as the dude, I'll go ahead and I'll execute that thing. I'll make it happen. The beautiful thing about these entities both being in Aquarius is that this is absolutely, again, and I sound like a broken record, for the people. Let's do the thing that we need to do for the group, for our friendships, for organizations, to make our block better, to make our work environment better, whatever has to do with a congregation of sorts. However, Aquarius energy can think a lot, especially when there are two planets that are in conjunction with one another. So what I will caution you about is overthinking a possibility, overthinking a solution, and how to get to where you need to get for the people. Simply said, please don't think for people. You may have the desire to make things better for the group, for the folks, for some friends, for humanity, right? But don't think for them. It's a very fine line because ego has a way of thinking for a person. That's what Aquarius does. Why? Because Aquarius energy thinks it knows it all. So if it thinks it knows it all, I got it. Let me think this out for you. Nobody's going to come up with a better plan. And that's not true because everybody's plan suits their own individual walk. So I caution you on Thursday not to be too passionate and not to be too aggressive about overthinking a plan for someone else or for yourself in that matter. You understand? Sometimes things are as simple as they are. 1 + 2 = 3. And that's as far as it goes. We don't need to square it. We don't need to make trigonometry out of it. We don't need to invite calculus in this mug. 1 + 2 = 3. The overthinking can allow you to back yourself up into a corner. And next thing you know, you in yesterday on a tomorrow tip. Also on Thursday, the moon being in Leo will square Uranus. So as Tuesday starts off with Uranus being celebrated by the moon, saying, yes, take that aha moment, shift, be different, do what you need to do. On Thursday, there's a question. Because possibly maybe you overthink the thing on Thursday with Venus and Mars coming together. And now you are overthinking and or caught like a deer in the headlights, not knowing how to play out this shift, this need to take that aha moment opportunity, whatever comes in quick. And it's like, you can do it. Take that opportunity, and we get caught not being courageous, feeling too proud. We get caught going, I don't think I can do this. Pause. You can do whatever it is that you set yourself out to do. Sometimes too much information is too much information. And in that way, you find your way stuck and not being able to utilize the courage that you've been given that fits the information that you have. Utilize what you have where you are in this moment in time is what that's saying with that moon square in Uranus, okay? On Friday, the moon stays in Leo until about 8:38 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and then it'll pop into the next sign, which is Virgo. But when it's in Leo, it will absolutely, again, continuously give us that will to push on. Remember about your high expectations, and remember about bullying a situation too much when it feels like it's out of your control, when people seem a little smarter than you, when intellectual information kind of goes over your head. Sometimes people will use that moon and Leo information and push through like a proud lion, like, I know, and nothing is going to bother me. Pipe down just a little bit, especially because on that same day, Mercury goes into Pisces. Mercury going into Pisces on Friday gives us the opportunity actually until March 9th of this year to read the room. So if we're too busy being proud in that moon and Leo energy, I know what I'm doing. I'm proud. I'm a lion. I can take on anybody. We have a hard time with Mercury being in Pisces, wanting to be sensitive and intuitive about the room that we're in, about the information that's coming across our table, about the thoughts that we are thinking/feeling. Because when Mercury is in Pisces, we don't just calculate information, we feel the information, we intuit the information, and that's how we see if it's right for us. But if we're in this proud stance of the Leo moon, it's hard to read the room. Remember, Leo and Pisces is an irritant. They don't like each other. So we have to separate the two. Be proud where we need to be proud, but at the same time, walk into a room, into a meeting, in a conversation with your spouse, your honey, your children, your parents, with an intuitive gaze, with an understanding that, let me figure out how this is going to play out before I even say a word. Let me issue some soft, compassionate words before I even start spewing out the facts. Because sometimes facts can back people up in a corner and make them feel defensive. Whereas Mercury in Pisces aims to make you feel safety, emotional safety. You can extend your heart to me. Whatever you want to say or communicate about, let's get to it, is what Mercury in Pisces says, in a soft, loving, unconditional type of way. So don't cut your nose off to spite your face when you want to be heard, but also you want to be proud to know what you know. It's a trick bag, y'all. Just pay attention, okay? And if that's not enough, on that same day, Friday, when the moon goes into Virgo, It's going to be opposition Mercury being in Pisces as well. So now you have the moon in Virgo being very particular, logical, and rational, questioning the information that's coming in through spirit, through the ethers, through your intuition, through your gut, through the spaces and places that really don't make sense, end quote, but you know that it just feels right. The moon wants to challenge that. Your feelings, our feelings wants to challenge that and come up with a real reason why we need to say the things that we need to say. That's that opposition that's being played. The moon in Virgo says, find out the reason. Mercury in Pisces says, I don't need a reason. I just feel it. Weigh that out. Remember, oppositions allow you to take time to see which process proves itself to be best and better played in that moment in time, okay? On Saturday, the full moon will be at 5 degrees of Virgo, yep, at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. The full moon is when the moon is at its fullest swell of emotions, of karmic information, of feminine energy in which we held in all of our emotions for so long, all of our reactions were passive in some kind of way, the moon is, and it holds on to it so it can't hold it any longer. So when that full moon is swelling in Virgo, it's saying it's time to let go of the criticisms that you've had about yourself or other people. It's time to let go any discrimination. It's time to let go any denial that you put yourself in because you didn't have the proof at one point or another. That full moon in Virgo is tricky, 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 because not only does it think it's smart for being able to cross every T and dot every I, it misses the emotional understanding at times, looking for the facts, looking for things to reason on. That moon in Virgo, especially when it's swelling in a full moon, says, I don't need to hear whatever it is that you're saying because I'm going to stay in my denial in a way in which makes things look perfect for me. But once that bubble is burst after that full moon and you recognize the imperfections of yourself or anybody else, that's a shocker, baby. So the deal is to be easy on yourself with that full moon and allow it to kind of go up in its swell and then kind of ease on down by looking at where you are responsible, not being in denial, but where you are responsible for any emotional upheavals on that day. Where you are responsible for pointing fingers at everybody else, shaming and blaming everybody else, and not looking at what it is that you missed, staying in denial, trying to keep things perfect. Ooh, I hope that lands somewhere in somebody's heart. On Saturdays, there's a slew of things that's going down, a lot of aspects that I'm just going to run down real quick, okay? The first aspect, the moon will be opposition the sun. That's our mood versus our conviction, our emotional response versus who we think we are. Pay attention to that because we can absolutely, again, utilize oppositions when the moon is in Virgo to look for things that are a little bit more pragmatic, while the sun in Pisces is taking in all the information from the ethers. The moon, the reaction in Virgo can make sense of, can at least help to make sense of all the information that's coming in from the ethers. Utilize one thing over the other to create balance and awareness and what is useful for you in your life. Second thing, the moon is quincunxing Mars, moving in a maze, so to speak. The quincunx, remember, is irritation. The moon brings in emotions. Mars tells us where to go. So if Mars is irritated by the mood and the moon, we could be moving in kind of a hazy kind of direction. We don't necessarily know where we're going because we're irritated by the fact that the moon in Virgo just wants everything to be perfect. And Mars says, I just got to move. Mars says, I just need to go. However, you can't go when you're confused. You can't just go when you find yourself in a maze and you find yourself entering and exiting the same room over and over again. Slow down, please, on Saturday to be able to recognize what emotional information you have to let go, what criticisms about yourself that you have to let go in order to move in a different way with Mars, the best way possible, and get the heck up out of that maze. Also on Saturday, the moon will be opposition Saturn. Find balance in order to find your discipline. Find the balance within your criticism and the criticisms of others as they land on you, and make that discipline with Saturn and Pisces. Saturn and Pisces been rocking with us for a little while. I know those that like to listen to my reports have heard several times of Saturn being in Pisces, but it's a big deal. It is absolutely helping us to become more disciplined, regulated in how we utilize spirit and how we utilize our intuition and how we utilize the information that's coming through. So with the moon in Virgo, it says not only pay attention and be critical of that information that's coming in and that you're discarding, but allow that to help you to have a spiritual discipline, something that's a little bit tighter than what you used to be doing, boo-boo. I'm saying you need to get up on your prayer game. You need to meditate. What you need to do. Things are happening so quickly, so swiftly, so busy, like in your life. We're just coming out of this Aquarius energy. Have you been thinking way too much, in which you've forgotten to stop and thank God? You've forgotten to stop and be appreciative of what's going on around you, what's growing around you. That's all that's saying on Saturday, is be very, very aware of the things that are coming through your emotional bodies, the opportunities that are happening through your emotional bodies, because you are discriminating about what you're taking in, so allowing you to have that spiritual discipline. You need it like a vitamin to keep on going, to remember God is always with you. You're not alone. Also on Saturday, the moon quincunxes Venus. They may not see your worth. They, the infamous they, whoever you want to call they, may not see your worth. Please and very please don't stop and cry for that. You might be irritated by that, but nobody sees your worth like you see your worth. The moment we stop and ask for people to validate us in whatever way, it could be our mothers, our fathers, a stranger on the street, our yoga instructor. Ooh, that was a good stretch. No. What we have to learn to do is to continue to validate ourselves. That pumps us into an easy place of love. In that easy place of love, we do not care what anybody says about us. It doesn't matter how they respond to us, because we know how much we're worthy of. Don't let it irritate you on Saturday, okay? And with the moon on Saturday, tried in Jupiter, it brings us to this positive feel good. If you don't let anybody validate you for you, and you do let yourself validate you for you, that moon trine in Jupiter says, I have opportunities for you. I have Skittles for you. I have a good time for you. At the very least, I have a big, deep belly laugh for you Saturday evening, in which you need it like gosh darn medicine. Fall into that, y'all. Find the happiness and the positivity Saturday evening after you done chopped yourself up so much and left yourself out there like minced meat, trying to figure out what to do next. Yes, I said it. We're in that motion right now. Like, to be truthful with you, and squirrel, and I'll tell y'all the last aspect of Saturday in a minute. But the squirrel moment is the fact that we've all been chewing and chomping on crunchy peanut butter. Yes, the analogy is crunchy peanut butter. Why am I using that analogy? We've all been going through something, trying to figure it out, trying to walk through, munch through, ascertain the peanut butter. And what I mean by that is that we know the peanut butter is good, but every now and again we hit a piece of peanuts that may be a little, I don't know, burnt, and we go, ooh, what is that? Keep on moving, don't worry. Keep on chomping, don't worry. Then we keep chewing in, and we're like, is this gonna smooth out? Can we just get to the smooth peanut butter? Don't complain, just keep chewing, don't worry. That's what this week is like. It's going through the criticisms of the chunky ass peanut butter, going through the criticism of why isn't it shaped like this? Why we need for it to be shaped like this? Asking the questions in which are probably valid on some level, but they don't deserve as much weight as we want to give it oftentimes. Why? Because 70% of the things that are in our universe and in our atmosphere, we don't understand and we never will. So keep on crunching on the crunchy peanut butter until it tastes good for you, until it smooths on out. And that last aspect on Saturday will not prove for it to be smoothed out, possibly maybe by some, because Venus will square Jupiter. Jupiter squaring Venus makes you feel like, again, that you're not worthy of the Skittles. Jupiter squaring Venus makes you feel like the love that you picked up on, the love that you just started, the love situation that you're in, the passion and the desire that you have for somebody or something. It's not showing its Skittles. It's not showing its positivity just yet. You're still crunching on the crunchy ass peanut butter. It'll smooth out. Especially if you take a swig of some chocolate milk and make it work for you. The squares are only there to show us challenge and growth. Again, this is showing us that our worth lives inside of us, and the opportunities that Jupiter wants to give us stems from us. How much do you believe in the opportunities, baby? That's the real question. On Sunday, with the moon still being in Venus, it's back to 1, y'all. This aspect favors the aspect that we started this whole rundown with. The moon trining Uranus. On Tuesday, today, in which I'm giving the report, the moon is sextiling Uranus. On Sunday, the moon will trine Uranus back to 1, back to the changes, back to the shifts, back to the innovation, back to the clear thinking of your own individual path, knowing that you already have the peanut butter smoothed out in your mouth on a piece of bread and you're ready to devour it. Why? Because you have the information, because you have the details, because you've made sense of how you feel. The moon being in Virgo as it hits Uranus being in Taurus. It's on the same accord now, okay? Back where we started, let's be open for the change. I know many people, squirrel, have heard me talk about Uranus. Uranus and changes, Uranus and changes, changes, Uranus and changes. I need to let you know, I don't have a lack of words. What's happening right now with Uranus being in Taurus for almost 2 years has been allowing us to change definitely, but very, very slowly. Remember, Taurus does not like to change. Uranus is all about the swift changes. We have been prompt to change over and over and over and over and over again. Almost like a nagging person, a nagging child, a nagging situation that's telling you, I'm not getting up off of you until you do this thing, because this is definite. This is where we're going. So the longer you take the change, the more this aspect is going to be on your back, with Uranus needing to change. Please answer to your individuality. It's necessary. It's time. I just wanted to give y'all a little bit of that. So before I go, let's go ahead and pull the card for the week. You ready? I'm ready. You ready? I'm ready. Wow. I think I said this word at least 3-4 times. Courage. That's what we are being prompted to tap into this week. Courage. This card shows a small wildflower that has met the challenge of the rocks and the peanut butter and the stones in its path to emerge into the light of day. Surrounded by an aura of bright golden light, it exposes the majesty of its tiny self. Unashamed, it is equal to the brightest sun. When we are faced with a very difficult situation, we have a choice. We can either be resentful and try to find somebody or something to blame for our hardships, or we can face the challenge and grow. The flower shows us the way as its passion for life leads us out of the darkness and into the light. There is no point in fighting against the challenges, y'all, or trying to avoid or deny them. They are there. And if the seed is to become the flower, we must go through them. You must keep chomping on the peanut butter, even if it's crunchy. Be courageous enough to grow into the flower that you were meant to be. Ashe. And thank you for taking the time to check out my video. Thank you for taking the time to like and subscribe and share with your people. Thank you for being the brightest light that you can be. For not only adding this information as some slight entertainment, but in a way in which you absolutely can help yourself get better and help those that are around you, that you live with, that you come in contact with, get better as well. We in this together, y'all. And as long as I'm shining, you shining. If you shining, I'm shining. Let's go. Go and be courageous enough to shine the light that you were meant to shine, all right? Much love to you. Be bright.